So hello everyone, my name is Gurman and I will be sharing my PowerPoint on the Empire State Construction Project Plan. So to get started, we'll start off the project charter. So the Empire State Building Project, the goal is to construct the world's tallest skyscraper in existence and was someone's hope during the Great Depression. The high key objectives or the end objective will be to construct an 80-story building with a planned budget of 50 million USD and a timeline of roughly 13 months. The key stakeholders of the project are the Empire State Corporation and Lyman Harmon Associates, Jarrett Brothers and Enkin, and lastly James Farley's General Builder Supply Corporation. So on this slide we can see the work breakdown structure. So we initially start with design and planning, which includes the project planning and the project design. So project planning has a scope, the project schedule, the project budget. The project design has architecture design, mechanical design, and electrical design. Then we go to site preparation, which includes the demolition of the hotel that was previously there, the excavation for a foundation, including soiling testing, and then concrete pour of at least 17 meters deep to help support the steel structure. Then we go into structural framework, which includes steel fabrication, which also has to do with steel fabrication delivery. Then we have erection of these steel columns. Riveting operations by a group of four were done to secure the steel to the structure. Then we have to also connect at graders. Then we have material transportation, which is done by trucks and using derricks to lift these very heavy steel fabrications. Then we have the flooring installation, which includes the floor concrete pouring. Next, we have the exterior construction, which is the facade installation of spandrel beams, bricklay, and installation of aluminum windows. Lastly was interior construction, which includes office finishing, which included interior wall installation, painting, flooring, and then we had electrical wiring, which had to do with installation of lights and anything else, and plumbing. Next is the Gantt chart. So on the left, we can see all the more in-depth activities done, and on the right is the start and finish dates. So as you can see, this is a big project, so there's a lot of activities that were done. On top of that, we can see that a lot of the projects were done or activities were done concurrently or in parallel, which helped greatly reduce the risk or the reduction of the completion time. As you can see, it started in mid-January and finished roughly at the end of March. So now we have the cost management plan. So cost estimation or budgeting was based off the initial plans created by William F. which is architect, and Harmon of at least 50 million USD. Cost control was done by monitoring and recording when materials were arriving, as well as the workforce on site during the day. Budgeting forecast was used, trying to understand what materials were needed, quantity of each, and the cost. Such materials were named to be the bricks, 10 million bricks, 10,000 tons of plaster, 57,000 steels, 62,000 cubic yards of concrete, 200,000 cubic feet of limestone, 310,000 square feet of marble, and 6,500 windows. Labor costs of the 3,400 windows or workers, including drivers, were also in the cost management plan. Some ways of reduction for the cost during this project were to use the 6,500 windows as a part of the brick wall, rather than making an entire brick wall and making a cutout of the window, which lowered the cost of the use of the brick and the amount of bricks used. Another reduction of cost was the activation of the revision to the city building code that would allow the Empire State Building structural steel to carry 18,000 pounds instead of 60,000 pounds, reducing the amount of steel needed for the building. This meant that more weight could be shifted onto these steel fabrications, and that means less steel fabrication have to be created and installed. Now we have quality management plan. So early collaboration during the design phase involved expert teams, including contractors, architects, and engineers. Rather than just relying solely on architects to design, they had contractors and engineers help with the design. This was the combined experience of these groups helped prevent any potential design errors and anything that could possibly go wrong. This essentially, due to the complexity of the project, helped out with the quality aspect of the design. The just-in-time delivery system, which required materials to be used within 3 days of arrival, helped prevent material degradation or allowing any rust or anything on the material or anything bad going with the materials, and it allowed for thorough inspection prior to installation. It was also intended to ensure that all substitute materials continue to meet project specifications even when replacing suppliers to maintain quality assurance, make sure the material that's in place, we're still able to use it and it still has a good, it still meets the project standards. So resource management plan. So the basic resources will be required from James Farley General Building Supply Corporation, which we talked in the procurement plan. Um, they will be allocated and delivered based on the CAN chart and what activities are first and which activities need them from the start, or the earliest activities that need from the start. And any other materials not provided by this company are from other suppliers from different parts of the world. So resources were carefully monitored and controlled by ensuring that suppliers possess the necessary motivation, facilities, workforce, and capability to handle the project with complexity. This was done early on so that no problems were occurred during the project because of supplier issues and not being able to meet the demand. So on the bottom, we can see the responsibility assignment matrix, which includes the human resources, materials, equipment, and steel fabrication. So the people responsible for the human resource equipment was John W. Bowser, who was on the site day to day tracking the progress. Material and steel fabrication were done from contractor companies. Accountable were Stater Brothers and Ekins most of the time because they're the ones who managing the overall of the project. Then you mostly want to consult William F. Lamb, who was the architect, and mostly you want to inform Empire State Corporation, sometimes William F. Lamb, and sometimes John W. Bowser. So communication management. So coordinating between different teams, tracking project progress, and managing unexpected changes were all done through paper documentation, phone calls, and in-person meetings. Since technology like now was not used back in the day, like Google Meet, this had to be done through the old methods, as we say. Stakeholder engagement would include secure commitment from contractors/funding sponsors, addressing concerns as they arise from stakeholders, and transparency of progress. So on the bottom, we can see the communication requirements and the things that need to be communicated. So mostly it would be the site reports, the progress meetings, the financial reports, and the change requests. That was the main meaning. The purpose was for the site reports to track progress on site. For progress meetings, we want to compare progress to plan and resolve the issue and set plans for future weeks. Financial reports were to monitor spending, budget, and availability, and change requests are done when they need to be done. And we can see the frequency, depending on what the type was and who is responsible for these tasks. So risk management is one of the more important parts of this aspect. So the first risk is the stock market crash during the Great Depression. This likely was high because that was something that was looming around this time. The consequences is not having enough investment or money to continue with the construction. So the risk response would be to get loans from anywhere applicable, such as banks, other investors, or insurance companies. Second risk is the crisis builder construction competition of having the largest building. The consequences of this is its increased cost, possible loss of investment, and public attention. The risk response is to adjust architectural plan to accommodate with completion. The third risk is severe weather. The likelihood of it is high because it's in New York. This would delay work and safety concerns. And the risk response would be used per/CPM to understand which events can be delayed and allocate buffers for activities that can be delayed due to weather. Risk 4 is material shortage/delivery delay. This is obviously a possibility. It's immediate, so work can get delayed, possibility of going past planned timeline. So risk response would be to get early confirmation from current supplier if unable to provide quickly, and search for a new supplier if possible, or try getting to deliver if they're en route, try finding ways to get them here as fast as possible. The last risk is a bigger equipment failure, so this will cause work to get delayed. And the risk response is to make sure to do regular maintenance checks and, if possible, have spare equipment on board. So procurement management. So the procurement strategy is early procurement of materials to keep schedule ahead of plan, buying in bulk, centralized purchasing of materials to make coordination of procuring materials easier, and suppliers' location of prefabricated steel are nearby, so it's easier for transportation. The vendor selection criteria are prior experience, competitive pricing, location, reliability, adherence to regulations, meets quality standards, and is financially stable. So the key contractors in this project are the Stater Brothers and Ekins, American Bridge Company, James Farley General Building Supply Corporation, and Sheriff Lamb Harmon, and these are the ones. The roles are on the right of what the responsibilities in the project were. The contract management procedure included the contract type, how to make a fixed price contract. Payments would be made when milestones are reached. Any modification to material / product had to be communicated, and deliver material / product on the agreed upon date. Lastly, the stakeholder management plan. So the stakeholders on the left are mentioned as throughout the PowerPoint, and on the right is the engagement strategy. So for Empire State Corporation, you want to have regular update meetings, and you want to have work done. You want to understand the work done with the current cost incurred. Lamb and Harmon Associates is want to go through safety briefings and progress updates and collaboration on deadlines. Stewart Brothers and Ekin, coordination meetings on design with regulators and engineering. And James Farley, general building supply portion. The engagement strategy was to communicate delivery schedules and update on possible issues on supplying any material. And that is everything. That is it.